Okay, well, in this short little video we're going to talk about angels. Again, much misunderstood creatures, so to speak. Within occultism we all say that there is spiritual presences. It does sometimes appear in your meditations and prayers and rituals that certain beings exist. I'll just give you an example from my own personal experience. This happened many, many years ago. I took from Eliphas Levy's Transcendental Magic the numerical sequence for one of the planetary squares. I'd selected from my reading an Archangel of that planet, so I knew its name. I looked into aspects of the Kabbalah, and 777 from Aleister Crowley's writings, and I saw, the colours and ideas and symbols associated with that particular planet. I then decided to design a ritual based upon, it started with something similar to a Wiccan circle casting. I wore a robe which I'd made myself from some reasonably high quality material, and I chanted the numbers of the square, and I chanted some names and some words associated with that particular alleged planetary energy. I drew the symbol of that planet in the air using a wand which I had made and fashioned, and I made ornate symbols on it and all the rest of it. And the mood within the circle area changed dramatically, and it's almost like there was an almost tangible feeling that there was something there, but that's more or less all that's happening during the ritual itself. I would add that this was not a frenzied rite. No matter how many times you've read, seen the film The Wicker Man, frenzied rites do not work. I've tried them, just trust me on that. The whole mood of my operation was tranquil, reverent, monastic, and prayerful, which seems to be the kind of meditative attitude and state of mind which you need to do this sort of operation. I'd summoned the angel to be present, I'd drawn the symbol of the planet, and then I banished the circle in the traditional way, as mentioned in the Wiccan religion. I then went to bed. During that night, it was rather a fitful night's sleep, I'd say, because I didn't properly get to sleep. My mind was racked with all kinds of fear and pain and all the things that I was going through in my day-to-day life, which was at that time very extreme. I then had a peculiar experience. The ritual was done in my bedroom. Okay, my bed was just outside of the area where the circle was cast. As I was in such turmoil, I suddenly screamed out, sort of inwardly. I didn't actually open my mouth, but it felt like screaming, just as you may scream into your pillow at night, and in the direction of the centre of the circle, the phrase, "Why must I suffer?" It actually felt like there was all kinds of gunk inside my head that was being thrown out quite violently. Almost immediately after I'd done that, I received another load of stuff coming from the centre of the circle which hit my head. It felt like a bolt of static electricity, but as this bolt of static electricity seeming or feeling like a bolt of static electricity, as it touched my head, it was like the blob of static was actually a meaning, and the meaning, as it settled into my head, expressed itself to my mind as, "Because you chose it. You chose." And so I heard those words inside my head. The immediate experience I had after that was to think, oh my God, I did. Because that particular ritual had opened up or made me aware that at some point in my existence, which is not just physically limited, it's not just this particular bodily world that I live in, it's other aspects of my existence, going across presumably time, space and geographical locations, at some point I had actually made, or the one being of which I was a tiny little brain cell in, had actually made a decision that I was to go through this, that and the other in my life to assist with the learning which the higher power has to do through me as an incarnate individual bound by space and time. Then I realized that I'd had a very peculiar revelation, and it was rather strange, and I chose to disbelieve it, because that's what you have to do after you've had a weird experience. You don't go around believing, oh my god, there's spirits all around me, I'm terrified, because otherwise you can't live as a functioning physical person. I then had to choose to disbelieve it. But the experience has shown me something, I've spoken to other people during my work as a professional tarot reader who've also had experiences of contacting higher beings, whether it's the Wiccan goddess, an angel, an archangel, or a spirit guide, for instance, and the message is usually the same from the higher beings, and that is that you chose it, you chose to experience it, and it often feels a bit abrupt, a bit like a slap in the head. That's quite a common experience globally, not just in my county, not just in my city, not just in my country, not just in amongst the people of my ethnic origin, but globally, internationally, this is a very common occurrence for people who have direct contact with these beings. Whether they are real, whether they are imaginary, we don't know. There's no real hard and fast way of proving it. The experience seems to suggest that there's a possibility of there being something else there, but we can't just jump to that experience. We just can't do it. So, number one, if you're doing a ritual ceremony or whatever to contact a higher being, make it prayerful, make it reverent, make it monastic, make it calm and tranquil and feeling very holy. Number two, if you're looking for some kind of detailed information as to the precise reasons why this, that and the other has happened, a higher being probably will not give it to you. A higher being will only ever say you chose it. You have to experience it. That's all they'll do. That's their theme. They're very helpful in other things such as healing. They're very interesting as protective guides when you're doing astral projection work. But if you want to ask a higher being why something has happened, don't, because they don't care to sit down with you for give you a 3-hour lecture on sociology, psychology, the happenings in your life, and all the decisions that you've made. That's something you've got to do yourself. Get a pen and paper, do a SWOT analysis, analyze strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats of each and every single aspect of your being, everything you said, everything you've done, and try and work out where your life path has gone from various different moments. You can't just do all that inside your head. You just can't. Because if you do, eventually you'll go mad, because you'll start believing your own horse shit, okay? It just doesn't work that way. However, I would say that if you can bring yourself up to a level of skill whereby you can contact the higher energies, you'll find that experience fascinating. Again, is that really going to help you if you're doing magic to try and cure yourself of a disease? The short answer would be no. Is that going to help you if you want to do magic to try and become a multi-millionaire? Well, or get yourself out of debt? Well, the short answer would be no. But that type of magic itself is interesting, and once you've had that experience, maybe you can do more work with meditation to ask more specific questions and focus on specific issues and ask specific questions about specific things with your divine beings. That overlaps with mediumship, that overlaps a little with divination, but it's something to play around with, and I wish you all the best of luck with your experiences, communicating with God, communicating with the angels, and taking it from there. Thank you.